नहीं वो हमने पूछ भी चला ना इबादत होती है नहीं तो मैं बोल चुका करा दी इसका तो वापस जाएगा
MashaAllah, tonight is a blessed night. It's one of our odd nights, and MashaAllah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the blessing of Laylatul Qadr. We have our Ustad, Imam, our Sheikh Ibrahim from Banu Masjid. He will talk to us about the importance of this night tonight. All right. So please, should I put a chair? I guess.
No, inshallah, I'll be fine.
No, it will be good for you.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
So I would request everybody to get close and make it halqa, so we should be able to concentrate.
إن الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه من والاه. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا ما ينفعنا وزدنا علما. الحمد لله, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed us with this Ramadan, and before this Ramadan we were making du'as. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked him to give us barakah in Rajab and Sha'ban and somehow convey us to Ramadan. And here we are, in the last week of Ramadan. And we have this discussion every year with our friends and family in each Ramadan towards the last week of Ramadan. Like, this year's Ramadan has gone really fast. And surprisingly, each year's Ramadan passes faster than the previous year. And it's getting so progressively. And it's not been changing. And not only Ramadan, each year is passing faster than the previous year. And so will our life eventually. And then, after our resurrection, when we will be asked, come Labith, how long did you live? We'd say maybe a moment, an hour, or some part of the day. Because it's a comparison of finite versus infinite. Eternity versus temporary life. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala deserves all gratitude from us, all praise that, He considered us worthy of asking for His forgiveness and freeing our necks from the fire of hell. And He wanted us to get to know Him even more and to reestablish our connection with Him. And the word Ramadan comes only once in Quran by its very name, Ramadan. And there Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصمه. This is a portion of the longer ayah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning in Surah Al-Baqarah. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala introduced the word Ramadan, He hasn't even mentioned fasting as of yet. He mentions Ramadan is that month in which Quran was sent down. So when Allah is talking about the best month of the year, He is introducing it by something best that happened inside it. And that best thing that happened within Ramadan is the revelation of Quran. And the first surah in Quran, containing 7 ayat, Surah Al-Fatiha, is our introduction, or in fact is Allah's introduction to us. The reason I'm beginning to talk about Fatiha is Ramadan is about rediscovering our connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, resetting our ties with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, re-establishing our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not that we are not connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala otherwise, we are. But Ramadan resets things. It's a reset button. You know, when our phones or some computer, any programmable device gets some bugs, viruses, hangs often, we often have a reset button. And that reset button is such that, you know, we need to create a backup so our data is not lost. And when we reset that device, you know, all the viruses, all the bugs are done away with, and the device is sound and healthy to use. So Ramadan is the month for reestablishing our connection to our Creator. And the first thing we must know is who our Creator is. What is He like? What should we expect of Him? What does He expect of us? And once we know who our Khaliq is, who our Bari is, who our Sustainer is, who our Raziq is, and who our, destiny maker is, once we know all of it, the ties, the connection, the relationship which we are supposed to have with Him gets rectified automatically on its own. Once we get to know the true words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in our hearts and minds both. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. The word Alhamd pre-contains the two elements within it. Many of our translations highlight only the praise element, and we say all praise belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. However, the word praise in Arabic is described as madah as well as sana. So let's say if I want to praise someone or something, I could just say, mashallah, Sheikh Yusuf is a very good hafiz, is a very good qari of Quran. I'm praising him. This is praise. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. I might say this device that I'm carrying in my hand is an awesome device. It's so-and-so model of so-and-so smartphone. I'm praising it. Similarly, Dallas is an awesome city. Right? Similarly, Virginia is a beautiful state. Maryland is a beautiful state. I'm praising all of these things. But remember, when we praise something, we're not thanking that thing. We are simply mentioning what's there in it inherently, or in a person inherently. I praise a nice car. I praise a nice masjid. I praise a nice book. I praise nice food. I can praise anything. And Arabic has words for praising in the form of madh, sana, and many more. Then why alhamd? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses this word alhamd for it contains two elements. One is praise, the other is gratitude. Thanks. Shukr. No language, in fact, no known modern day language has one word that captures both praise as well as gratitude. Shukr. Thanks. Within one word, like hamd. So hamd is a combination of praise, for Allah deserves it, and gratitude for all He has done for you and me, and for this earth to flourish. We are thanking Him for giving us life. When you say hamd, you add an al to it for istighraq, for encompassing all the kinds of praise and gratitude that can ever exist. Saying, praise and gratitude belongs to Allah. Praise and gratitude belongs to Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in one of the rukus of Surah Al-Baqarah talks about, and many other places in Quran, He talks about the Quran's inimitability, that it cannot be imitated. And He says, if you are in doubt, وَإِن كُنتُمْ فِي رَيْبٍ مِّمَّا نَزَّلْنَا عَلَىٰ عَبْدِنَا فَأْتُوا بِسُورَةٍ مِّن مِّثْلِهِ وَادْعُوا شُهَدَاءَكُم مِّن دُونِ اللَّهِ إن كنتم صادقين فإن لم تفعلوا ولن تفعلوا فاتقوا النار التي وقودها الناس والحجارة أعدت للكافرين صدق الله العظيم. So if you're in any doubt, in iota of doubt that what we have sent down upon our slaves, whether it's from us or not, then produce one surah like. Call even your helpers other than Allah if you are truthful. But then if you are unable to do it, and you will never be able to do it, fear the fire whose fuel will be وقودها الناس, whose fuel will be people, والحجارة, and stone. أعدت, it has been prepared للكافرين, for the disbelievers. Now, Allah is talking about the inimitability of Quran. And inimitability means that when the surah begins with Alif Lam Mim Al-Baqarah, all the surahs in Quran that begin with huruf muqatta'at, separated letters like Hamim, Noon, Wal Qalam Yawma Yasturun, Alif Lam Mim Sad, Alif Lam Ra, Kaf Ha Ya Ain Sad, they talk about the inimitability of Quran somewhere or the other. That means Quran is at the epitome of perfection because it's the word of our Creator who is the perfect, the most perfect. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala begins saying, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, there cannot be a better beginning than this. And what is that? I said, Hamd is a combination of two elements. What are those two elements? Praise and gratitude. And we are saying all praise, the all element comes from Al. Al not only makes things specific or definite, it covers everything possible in terms of praise and gratitude, gratefulness, specifically thanks, belongs to Allah or is for Allah. Something interesting. Allah is not commanding us in the beginning of the surah, people praise Allah. Nor is He mentioning it in a verbal format, where it's a word, a present tense word, a past tense word. A present tense would be, Allah could have made us say, I praise Allah. Ahmadullah. Nahmadullah. Often the khatib, the speakers begin their lectures, shuyukh begin the lectures by saying, Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem. For had it been a word, it would have had a tense. Words are tenses. Past tense, present tense, and future tense. And because the verb requires a tense, it means a verb only manifests, happens in its relevant tense. When the tense is not valid, if it was past tense, then it happened only in the past. If it's present tense, then it didn't happen in the past. Or the future. If it's future, then it didn't happen now, nor in the past, but it's only going to happen in future. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used a noun. He said, Alhamdu, all praise and gratitude belongs to Allah. The second thing about words, action words, what we call fi'l bil Arabi, is a word needs a person to do it. Needs a fa'il, a subject, right? He praises, she praises, I praise. That means praise of Allah would have been dependent on a doer, on a praising person. Meaning if the person was not praising, if that creation was not praising, as if the praise didn't exist. But look at this amazing power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He didn't use a verb here. He used what's permanent. And what's permanent? Nouns. Nouns are permanent. They are tense-free. They do not require any tense, nor do they require a person to do them. So praise as a concept belongs to Allah, let alone whether I do it or not, it's not dependent on me. Praise belongs to Allah, gratitude belongs to Allah, sana wa madh wa shukr belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whether I do it or not, it still belongs to Allah. Now, often, when we say, I began my talk today, I say, Inna alhamdulillah. The Khatib often on Jum'ah begin by saying, Inna alhamdulillah. Inna is often used to emphasize that no doubt praise and gratitude belongs to Allah. And that is a more powerful sentence, more powerful statement. However, when we say Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen and Al-Fatiha, somebody might question, isn't that less powerful than Inna alhamdulillah? A beautiful point here. When we say Inna alhamdulillah, we are trying to inform people that this is the case. No doubt, this is the case. However, in the beginning of Al-Fatiha, alhamdulillah is coming from our heart. We are informing no one. The heart is saying that. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. It's coming from our heart. We're not informing anybody. We are simply testifying. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks in Surah Al-Jathiyah. He says, Lillahi al-hamd. Or, Lillahi al-hamd comes min qablu or min ba'd. Like many other places in Quran. How is Lillahi al-hamdu different than Alhamdulillah? Same word, different order. Lillahi alhamdu means praise and gratitude belongs only to Allah. Exclusively to Him, it's for ikhtifa. And when we say Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, there is no only element. Why in Surah Al-Jathiyah Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses Lillahi alhamd? And here in Al-Fatiha, it's Alhamdulillah. Again, it comes first in Surah Al-Fatiha. In Surah Al-Jathiyah, Allah is presenting an argument against polytheists, the mushrikeen, who would say that praise belongs to all the deities. But then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Lillahi alhamd. Only to Allah belongs praise and gratitude. But when we say Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, we're already convinced. That's why we are saying it. It's not an argument. Allah is not proving anything. It's a statement coming from our heart. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. And the first name Allah wants us to know Him through is the word Allah, His name. Not an adjective. That's His name. Lafzul Jalal. Alhamdulillah. Now we know Him by His name. Now He starts describing and establishing His relationship with you and me. The first point He mentions, Ar-Rahman. And then He says Ar-Rahim. And both of these words, Ar-Rahman and Rahim, have the word Rahmah or mercy inbuilt in them. And often when we translate, we say the most gracious, the most merciful. right? When we say most gracious, the most merciful, it's very hard for you and me to relate. Like, we don't use the most gracious is a regular English dictionary word, but we hardly use that word or relate to it in our day-to-day life. How is graciousness different than mercy, or how is mercy different than graciousness? There are linguistic differences, but it's hard for a person to imagine them. Technically, both of them are one and the other forms of being merciful. But how different are they? Because there are no coincidences in Quran. Everything's perfect where it should be. And as I said, Ramadan is a month of reconnecting with Allah, resetting our connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it's the month of Quran, beginning by Fatiha, where Allah is introducing Himself to us, so we know who He is and reestablish our relationship with Him accordingly. So when we say Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, the word Ar-Rahman has three important points for us to remember. Consider the word Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim, they're both from the same root, Rahm. Rahmah. You know the womb of the mother in which the baby is conceived, that is called Rahm. Everything is taken care of. The baby doesn't need to worry about anything. You and I all went through that stage. Our food was provided. Security was provided. Protection against any external threat was provided. Whether we kicked our mom's bellies or moved whatsoever, our mother would still look forward to us. She will not beat us back if we were in the Rahim. So that's the concept of Rahim. Now when we say Allah is Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim, remember three things about the word Ar-Rahman. It's on the pattern of Atushan, language pattern, the word Ar-Rahman. Atushan, Jaw'an. What is the difference between, Rahim and Ar-Rahman? Ar-Rahim and Ar-Rahman. The first thing is, it is extreme. So when we say Jaw'an, it means extremely hungry. When we say Atushan, it means extremely thirsty. When we say Ghadban, it means extremely angry. So when we say Ar-Rahman, He is extremely merciful. Extremely merciful. There is an extreme in it. So for example, the choppy sea, the stormy ocean, which has waves, Mufassirun often describe the situation that Ar-Rahman is as if Allah is the ocean of mercy, and the waves of mercy are hitting whatever they find in a positive sense. So there is an extremeness in Allah's mercy. So I said, how many points are important about the word Ar-Rahman? 3. Point number 1, it's extreme. Point number 2, it's happening right now, as we speak. Whether you're sleeping, awake, it is happening right now. That means, if somebody says he is Atushan, he is thirsty at that moment. Somebody says Jaw'an, he is extremely hungry at that moment. If somebody is Ghadban, he or she is extremely angry at that moment. Current. 2 points. The third point, scary one, it's temporary. When we say Jaw'an, somebody is extremely hungry right now, but there is something that can get rid of that hunger. Food. The moment he or she is satiated, food goes inside their belly, it's gone. Temporary, right? Atushan, thirst, temporary. Relieved with water. Satiated, thirst gone. Scary thing is, when you say Ar-Rahman, the first point, extreme mercy, Allah is extremely merciful. Second point, right now. Third point, something can make it go away. Something I might commit, somebody might commit, can deprive them of that rahmah of it. So 3 points about Ar-Rahman. It's extremely merciful. Allah is extremely merciful right now. 2 points. 3 points. Temporary. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is covering my present, your present. I shouldn't be worried about, that this chair breaks while I'm sitting here. No, I'm not worried. Allah is taking care of it. Allah is keeping my heart beating, and yours too. Allah is keeping my blood from clotting in my brain. He's ensuring that my heart doesn't skip a beat. Right now, He's ensuring that there is no clot anywhere in my body. He's ensuring my hearing is sound, everything is perfect, the temperature is perfect, and all my body is symmetric. Everything's taken care of. The gravity, it's not anything that's happening right now. The earth is holding us on it and everything around us on it. The cars are reliable, they don't deceive us. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is running the cosmos. And when we say Ar-Rahman, He is extremely merciful. Right now, temporarily. Everything, so He is our present covered. Then we say Ar-Rahim. It has how many elements? 2. Both of them are merciful, but how do we differentiate between Ar-Rahman as his ism and sifa and Ar-Rahim? Ar-Rahim is something that is always there, permanent. Ar-Rahim is something that is always there. What is always there? His mercy is always there. He is always merciful. He is always merciful. Permanently He is merciful. It is His trait that He is merciful. I'll explain it to you in a way. If I say, my brother's name is Abdullah. If I say, my brother Abdullah, he is a very gentle person. He's a very kind person. Now, he's not here right now. He's in Malaysia. And as I'm speaking, that he's a very kind person, does that mean that he is being kind at this point, at this moment? Kindness is there in his sifa, in his attribute. That doesn't necessarily make him practice kindness at this moment. It's there as a trait, but might not be happening right now. But it's there, it's his quality. So when we say Ar-Rahim, Allah is always merciful. That's a permanent quality. Permanent. Second point about the Rahim, it might or might not be happening right now, but it's there. Whenever it is one, there are worthy people for it, He gives it. So the Mufassirun, when they were describing, Ibn Abbas, radiyallahu anhuma, they said that Ar-Rahman is for this dunya and Ar-Rahim is for akhirah. Ar-Rahman is for this dunya, like everybody gets sustenance, everybody gets the rizq, everybody gets taken care of, right? It's not that the gravity works for Muslims and for non-Muslims, they're flying in the air. For everybody. Food is there for everybody. Clothing and shelter is there for everybody. Allah's protection is there for everybody. Ar-Rahman. And then Ar-Rahim, the moment we transit from Ar-Rahman, we have Ar-Rahim. So, 3 points about Ar-Rahman. Extremely merciful right now, temporarily. 2 points about Ar-Rahim. It's always there. Allah is merciful. Allah is always merciful, all merciful. But it doesn't actually mean He is being that Ar-Rahim merciful right now. He may or may not be. That's up to Him. But the quality is always there. Now when I started, Alhamdulillah, I said Allah is introducing Himself by the word Allah. I skipped Rabbil Alameen. Rabb means master. Rabb means master. So on one side we have master. Who is at the other side of the picture? Servant? I'll rephrase it. Slave. We can be servants 9 to 5. But slave, modern day slavery doesn't exist. But as a concept, when Allah is Rabb, the other side is Abd. And Rabb literally means a master, proprietor, like owner. And Allah is saying Rabbil Alameen. And you know what the word Al-Alameen means? One of the translations that we read, the world, Alam. However, linguistically speaking, the world as a singular is Alam, but the plural for it is Awalim. And when you say alamun or alami, you're talking about nations and people. World is already there, but you're also including nations and people. So Allah is the Rabb of nations and people and species, whatever that exists. So Allah is Rabbil Alameen. So first thing, Allah introduced himself to us by the word Allah, His name. Lafzul Jalala. Then He says Rabbil Alameen. For us to know our true place. I'm a property, you are a property. Who's Allah? Wa Rabb. Rabb has another element in it. Somebody who sustains. He's not only the master, He is sustaining us as well. He's a caring master who gives us gifts. Who gives us gifts. Did I deserve these clothes? It's a gift. Imagine a slave-master relationship. Whatever, because slave is the property of the master, whatever the slave gets from the master is a gift. Because there is a bond, like he or she is the property of the master. So whatever I get as a risk, my clothes, my health, my parents, my intelligence, knowledge, possessions, housing, whatever I have, my bank balance, that is a gift of Allah. And do we complain for gifts? Like, I gave you a gift. Do you have the right to complain? Oh, I don't deserve this gift. Yeah, unless if it's a child of ours who is expecting something. But typically, a gift is just taken and you say thank you and close your eyes. And you are forever grateful. So whatever Allah gave you and me is a gift. Right? So we should not question. Close your eyes, say thank you and take it. We don't deserve anything, but He is giving us. So Rabb is a master, and unlike any cruel master of this world, He's a master who cares, who sustains, who provides, who gives gifts, who keeps your and my heart beating, ensuring everything is comfortable around us. So Rabbil Alameen, and then Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, we spoke about it. Then He says, because as I said, Surah Al-Fatiha introduces Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to us. So when we said Rabb, on the other side we are His slaves. Not every quality has a counter quality. So master's counter quality is slave. Ar-Rahman and Rahim are simply adjectives. They don't have the other side of it. But when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, He doesn't leave it as it is. There is accountability. He says Maliki Yawmiddin. What do you say? Maliki Yawmiddin. We say, oh, Allah is loving and caring, Allah is very merciful. Yes. Imagine when we deal with our kids or our younger siblings. Some parents, we observe the kids say, those parents are spoiling their kids. They don't know their limits. They give them whatever they want. And then when the kids misbehave, the parents are not reprimanding them. If they do not reprimand them, or if they do not give them consequences, they take parents' mercy for granted. And as a result, they might not grow up to be responsible adults. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where He says, is Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, extremely merciful, always merciful. Oh, Allah is merciful. Let me disobey Him. He says there is a day of judgment, day of settling scores. And Allah is the owner of that. Maliki Yawmiddin. Maliki Yawmiddin. So any injustices that might have been done with me, often as kids, my kids often say, Baba, that's not fair. We see people, teens around us, life is not fair. Who said this life would be fair? What is Jannah for them? This life is not meant to be fair. There will be injustices. There will be pains, sicknesses, diseases, some sort of struggle, challenges. But then at the end of the day, Allah will reward, compensate me with something really amazing, that is more permanent and eternal. So, Maliki Yawmiddin is to remind me as a warning and to console me at the same time. Warning as to don't take Allah's mercy for granted, There is a day when Ar-Rahman will transit into Ar-Rahim. But not everybody gets under Ar-Rahim. Everybody is under the shade of Ar-Rahman right now. But only who is qualified, who becomes eligible, who fulfills the eligibility criteria of Ar-Rahim, transits into Ar-Rahim on the Day of Judgment. But when he says Malik Yawmiddin, he is the master of or owner of the Day of Judgment, the Day of Settlement. And that is Malik Yawmiddin. Now, up until now, this was an introduction to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we were saying it from our tongue. Right after that, Allah makes us say, Allah is not saying, worship me. Allah makes us say a first person statement. You alone we worship. Iyaka na'budu. It's a conclusion after knowing Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Malik Yawmiddin, Iyaka na'budu. You alone we give ourselves in slavery. Slavery? Wait a minute, what's going on here? The word abada ya'budu means to worship, and the word abuda ya'budu, one is abada, the other is abuda. Both the present tenses ya'budu or na'budu. So it's a combination of slavery and worship. We may be worshipping Allah during the time of Qiyam or Salah, Tarawih, during our fast, during the Hajj and Umrah. What about the rest of the 24 hours of the day? That's when we are slaves to. The timings of worship, but slavery, 24/7. So we are making that declaration. You know, in USA they have a Declaration of Independence. We are making a declaration of slavery. Iyaka na'budu. It's a declaration coming from ourselves after concluding who Allah is. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, Iyaka na'budu wa Iyaka. That's right, so we say Iyaka na'budu. Come to think of it, if you and I are not slaves to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who are we slaves to? Money, desires, belongings, possessions, fashion, the world, nation, some ideology. We will be slaves to something. But the moment we become slaves of Allah, we testify that, we declare that we are your slaves, only your slaves. You alone do we give ourselves in slavery. We are actually getting free from everything else. And the purpose of it is a declaration of slavery, but it's a declaration of independence, freedom from every other thing. I don't have to conform. I don't have to be a slave to a trend in the society. I don't have to buy this because everybody is buying this. For example, I don't have to, follow the dreams of the world for myself. All I do is fulfill Allah's expectations. So declaration of slavery is actually a declaration of independence. So Allah is making me and you say that. Iyaka na'budu, and then we say, wa iyaka nasta'in. You alone we ask for help. Now first we get to know Allah, and as a result, Allah is making us say a conclusion that you alone we worship. It's a conclusive statement after knowing who Allah is. Iyaka na'budu. Then we say, wa iyaka nasta'in, you alone we ask for help. For seeking help, Allah has in Quran at many places used many other words. But why nasta'in? Nasta'in, the word aun. Heard the word aun? Aun is the basis for the word ista'ana yasta'inu, to seek help. There are two kinds of people. Imagine if, I had a flat tire of my car and I needed some help. I sat on the roadside and waited for help. I said, brother, can you please help me? I said, what? Can you replace for me my flat tire? Please do it. Now I'm not handicapped. I'm perfectly sound, healthy, sitting on the road, looking at you replace my car's tire and maybe like sipping soda or something. How would you feel? Would you want to help me? I'm not a lady, I'm not a weakling, I'm not a sick person. Would you even want to help me? Say, help yourself. Bye. This is not asta'in. This is not the kind of help we are asking from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know, this word has an inherent quality. Aun. It's that kind of help. What you ask, what I ask, when we are already struggling with something, and in the process of doing it, but we need a push. We need a push. You know, after you must have heard people or spoken to your friends, cousins, brothers, sisters, why don't you pray, brother? Thank God. May Allah help you. Why don't you pray? May Allah help you. Why don't you fast? Oh, may Allah help you. Oh, may Allah guide you. May God help you. Where is the aun? As-sa'inu assumes that you are doing what it is what you are required to be doing, and you need Allah's assistance at the same time. So when you ask for Allah's help, truly, as-sa'inu, this is what you are saying. Oh Allah, we are doing the plural, first person. وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ, you alone do we seek aid. And we are already struggling on that path. You're already trying to be a better Muslim and you're asking for Allah's help. You're already trying to make your ends meet with your efforts and planning, and then Allah, you're requesting Him to aid you in that process. That is what asta'in or nasta'in. Not just help. We're not asking Allah, being passive and asking for His active help. No. He wants us to be active and in that process ask for His help, and He will help. That's the criteria for Allah's help to come. Right? In Allah la yughayyiru ma biqawmin hatta yughayyiru ma bi anfusihim. Allah says that in Quran. Allah does not change the condition of a people, of a nation, unless they themselves change their condition. And in that process, Allah's aun, Allah's help will come. That is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we are saying, Iyaka na'budu, declaring our slavery to Him. And then you are saying, Iyaka nasta'in. And the first thing, really beautiful and sweet about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know, master-slave relationship. In this relationship, who helps whom? Does the master help the slave or slave help the master? No. Master-slave, typical master-slave relationship. Slave helps the master, right? Yes, exactly. You're right. So in that worldly master-slave relationship, it is the slave who is helping the master. Here the first thing Allah is teaching you and me to do is ask Him for help. Isn't He an amazing master? وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ, you alone we seek help from. He's teaching us that. Which master will do that? He's letting us know, like 5 times a day, like 17 times a day, in the salahs and in the nawafil. He's making us say that, giving us opportunity to ask for help. إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. And you know what aun is. Like, Sa'inu is seeking help while you are still in the process of accomplishing something. Then you seek Allah's help for doing that. Then you say what? You say finally, because even master, you are the slave, instructions are needed. A master gives slaves instructions, so you ask for them. You say, you ask for help, and the first thing you and I need our help in, to follow instructions. You're asking Allah for instructions. Ihdina as-sirata al-mustaqim. Ihdina. Guide us. Guide us. Show us as-sirata al-mustaqim. We say as-sirata al-mustaqim is the straight path. You know something really amazing about the word as-sirat? The word sirat itself means the straight path. Then how come mustaqim is also there? You know, we say guide us or show us the straight path. But here there are 2 words, as-sirata al-mustaqim. The word sirat itself means straight path. Straight path. Then what is al-mustaqim doing in this picture? So close. Upright. A path that brings you up. A path that elevates you. It's an upright path. Mustaqim. The path that makes you upright. Do you know what does the word dunya mean? Dunya is derived from the word adna. Adna is feminine, is dunya. Like ahsan, feminine is husna. You know, girls have that name. Husna. A'zam, its feminine is uzma. Girls have that name as well. Akbar, kubra, asghar, sughra. Masculine, feminine. Right? So adna is the masculine version of least significant, the lowest. Adna means the lowest. Its feminine gender grammatically is dunya. That places us in the highest place or the lowest place. Lowest place ever possible, and that is dunya. We can't go lower than this. There's only a chance of getting higher. And when we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim, show us the upright straight path. More accurate. Linguistically speaking. Translation. Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. So we know what we are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now. Then Allah is warning us to, giving us two examples of two kinds of human beings that always exist. People, the three kinds of human beings that always exist. First, he's asking us to be like those. صِرَاطَ الَّذِينَ أَنْعَمْتَ عَلَيْهِمْ. The path of those, the straight path of those whom you have shown mercy to, whom you have blessed, an'amta, whom you have favored, you know. And those are mentioned in Quran. The Prophet, as-Siddiqeen, an-Nabiyyin, ash-Shuhada. They are already perfect, right? Allah has testified about their character. So Allah has favored upon them. So we say path of those, the straight path of those upon whom. So we know who Allah is telling us indirectly to look for guidance in those people's lives, whom we have certified. There is no likelihood of them being wrong because they are no longer in this world. And Allah has spoken about Allah has given a testimony about their being on the right path, the Anbiya and their followers, for example. Foolproof people. We cannot doubt in their being perfect people because Allah spoke about them, mentioned their traits, qualities, characteristics. The other two kind of people Allah wants you and me to be afraid of. Not like scared of, but afraid of being like. And what they are? One kind of people is who have knowledge, but they decide not to follow knowledge, not to use that knowledge. They decide to do something opposite because of their own arrogance. غَيْرِ الْمَغْضُوبِ عَلَيْهِمْ. Not those who earned anger. Not those who earned anger. Often we translate who earned your wrath, your anger. There's no dhamir here, there's no pronoun here. غَيْرِ الْمَغْضُوب means not the anger deservers, not the anger earners, not those who earn anger. Simple. Allah is associated. Allah doesn't even want to be associated with such a group of people. And who are they? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned their example. The Mufassirun did too. The Yahud, the Jewish people. It doesn't mean the Jews of right now. It means somebody who has that trait of having the knowledge and choosing not to follow that knowledge. Often it happens with us in different contexts in life. We get to know the truth, yet we decide not to follow that. So Allah is warning us for that. The second scary group of people is who might be sincere but they have no knowledge. So acting without knowledge will make one lost, get lost, make one lose track. And of them, Isa alayhi salam came and his followers were the Muslims of their time. They were not Christians, they were Muslims. But what happened afterwards? They lost track. They were sincere, and Allah is mentioning about their scholars. But they lost track, they became lost. So Allah is giving us a benchmark. Guidance, what kind of guidance and what not should it be resembling. So Surah Al-Fatiha in a nutshell is an opportunity for us to discover Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when we offer Fatiha from now on, inshallah, in each of our 5 daily prayers, reflect on these points. 7 words is 7 ayat. But the word ayah doesn't mean a verse. Verse is a biblical standard or poetic standard. We measure poetry, sentences in a poetry, we don't say sentences, they're verses. Quranic standard is that of an ayah. An ayah means a miraculous sign. And Surah Al-Fatiha contains 7 ayat, 7 masani, it's 7 miraculous signs. Just like Quran, all of Quran contains ayat, miraculous signs. And the word surah doesn't mean chapter. Chapter is again a biblical measuring standard. Surah is, in Arabic, the word sur is fortress. What does it do? It protects. protects against threats. So Allah has created 114 fortresses in Quran for you and I to find protection. And believe me, they're all connected. They have a novel, they have congruence, they have a ring structure. So this Ramadan is introduced by Allah as a month of Quran, and the Quran, Allah begins it by, according to the Tartib Mus'haf, Al-Fatiha, the opener. And believe me, read Fatiha over and over again, you will want to dive deep into Quran. You will want to reconnect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it's so important, Allah wants me and you to say it like not once a day. In each and every rak'ah we offer of our 5 daily prayers. And not only the first prayers, but the prayer of gratitude, nawafil prayers as well, the sunnah prayers as well. So, I chose this, not the first odd night, not the second odd night, it's the third odd night. However, and the 5th night of the last Ashra. However, it's still not too late. Ramadan, 5 days are still left, or 4 days are still left. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us to earn His mercy, to earn His pleasure, to earn His rahmah, to earn His forgiveness from the fire of hell. Because last Ashra is the Ashra of saving ourselves from the fire of hell, asking Allah for that. And the sabil towards that is mentioned pretty clearly in Al-Fatiha. Right? So it is a dua that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us to ponder over His own ayat, His own miraculous signs, enable us to embody the teachings of Quran, enable us to attain freedom from the fire of hell in these last whatever nights that we have left. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our fast, accept our qiyam, accept our ibadat, all of them, accept our acts of charity, our acts of donations, our acts of services, whatsoever they are. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us alive, keep us alive until the next Ramadan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala return the spring of Ramadan over and over again in our lives, inshallah ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive ourselves and our deceased, our near ones, our dear ones, our loved ones who were there last Ramadan. They are no longer here, but they left us behind, because we will make dua for them. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us to do acts that would not only give us Allah's mercy, but our parents, their forefathers, their grandparents, our great-grandparents, and the entire ummah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ease our problems, heal the sick, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us to be a source of khair for the world. آخر دعوانا.
There were many people who were with us in last Ramadan, and they are no more here. They used to pray with us up here. One of them was people who took my brother from half and
Okay.
he's gone.
So let's
All other people, including my mother.
right. So let's make
Make a dua for him.
definitely, inshallah ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, forgive our dear brother Al-Faf Hussein, who was our musalli here, and Dr. Mansoor's beloved mother, and all our relatives, Rifat Qazi's mother, okay, the brother's sister, and there were a lot of people who were there with us, who were there last Ramadan. But however, because of Allah's plans, they couldn't make it to this Ramadan. But we make our dua that whatever we fast, may Allah consider it in their book of deeds as well. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whatever forgiveness of Allah we ask for our own selves, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala automatically consider it for our parents, for our near and dear ones who passed away. Whatever freedom from hellfire Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala entitles us with, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala entitle all those loved ones, our siblings, our near and dear ones, our parents, our uncles, our aunts, our siblings. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala consider our du'as in their haqq as well. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us to prepare for our afterlife as well. So, وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. can durood on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim fil alamin innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim fil alamin innaka Hamidum Majid. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. ربنا إنك جامع الناس اليوم لا ريب فيه إنك لا تخلف الميعاد. ربنا تقبل منا صيامنا وقيامنا وقراءتنا وعباداتنا كلها يا الله. انصرنا فإنك خير الناصرين يا الله. افتح لنا فإنك خير الفاتحين يا الله. واغفر لنا فإنك خير الغافرين يا الله. وارحمنا فإنك خير الراحمين يا الله. وارزقنا فإنك خير الرازقين يا الله. واحفظنا فإنك خير الحافظين يا الله. واهدنا ونجنا من القوم الظالمين. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلق محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
I look rich after before. You have a schedule to be shift now.
About 12:30, yeah, about 12:30 in Manhattan.
Okay. Actually, working from
Yeah,
home,
because,
like
yeah.
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 You want to make some soup? You have some? Really?
बॉटल आपकी है या आपके पानी में नीचे बची
दो कप चाय है अंदर, अगर किसी को चाय के लिए आप फ्रेश बना रहे हैं आपकी ज़्यादा प्रेशर
Even one more minute. What? Oh, just one. I just one. I just one. That's all I do. I know my system. They're not going to eat it? You want to eat one right now? Yes. Yeah. Maybe? Yeah.
More ready for marketing or something like this. Just one. The white one. तो चाय है रखी हुई अगर कोई लेना चाहता है आधा कप है Oh, okay, okay. Same. Okay. ये बात अल्लाह ताला को कही जाती है
Okay, so $500 for each $100.
एक बात चाहिए
Not 300. Pero kailangan así sa validation na rin para
I have my friend.
So I thought you were doing this here from outside. Do they live nearby or come from far? They live nearby. They live nearby, near you, or near. Once you start eating, you're gonna walk from
Todo, pero los tienen que after 4:30.
No, no, until 4:30. 4:30, after 4:30. What is the time?
So what was the question? What most questions? Oh, they were all mine. All mine. Mine, I know, but it's not question. This question is short. Yes, for this I'm sure. You read it? No, I should. Alhamdulillah.
The sound is like kind of.
करीम भाई दूध लेके आना ना आओगे तो लो
नहीं उसमें नहीं होगा हाँ होगा
करीम भाई यहाँ पे बॉल नहीं
क्या नहीं है
फिर मैं जा रहा हूँ ना छुरी ले छुरी Magluba. Magluba? Not Magluba. What is it? Okay, okay, my shit. Come.
and that's how you
Like that. Exactly. With our activity. Our activity.
इसको काटना है
With our
अभी देखो क्या आ जाएगा हाँ इसका
baby. No, no, open.
गुलाब जामुन देगा स्वीट it's only 2,000 calories.
Okay?
2,000 calories.
What?
गुलाब जामुन हाँ तो नहीं लगी नहीं that's why very bad
No? और यहाँ पर मैं सोच रहा हूँ कि लूँ क्या मुझे दो आते हुए मैं प्ले करूँगा वो है
Why change Saturday? Not Friday.
Well, there's a customer plan tonight too somewhere, right?
Yeah.
On the 26th?
I think a couple of families are doing it in their home. So they will do it around there.
There was some budget.
No, we have Rana Center of Prayer, but now it's really Saturday.
Really?
Yeah. So the more they need, the bigger it is. It's possible.
Lada Masjid किधर है?
So there's not.
किधर है?
Yeah.
अच्छा वो हाँ I know Abdul Khan. His name is Abdul Hafiz Khan. He's a friend of mine.
Now there's for 5 years, we just expanded, right?
Yeah.
Very well.
So now I went there last year.
How many people in the gym are like 5, 6 people?
Diploma? No. I about 200 to 300.
How many people in Karachi there? 10, 50? Including Imam or excluding? वो जो मस्जिद का भोग हो रहा है ना माशाल्लाह तो बहुत से खाना ऑर्डर आया खाना कम है चावल कम है रोटी कम है क्या बात है देख नहीं रहा है कपड़ा सारे फिटिंग में आ रहे हैं पुराने पुराने काम के पहनता है वो बोलता है कि मेरे को मेरा टारगेट ये है कि वो भी किसी से लगा हुआ है 55 मिनट में अपने नीचे कर पाएगा तब जाएगा बाल से क्या होता है कमी बोल रहा है करीब पाले की आप नहीं हो तो जाना
पानी बंद है तो उससे बोतल से बंद बोतल ले
मेरे को बहुत चीज समझता हूँ बड़ा बड़ा है हाँ चले चलेगी करते रहते चाय के डाला तो पानी तो बदल लेते हैं फिक्स प्राइस आ रही है किसी दिन
आपके मिक्स कब आ रहे
नेक्स्ट फ्राइडे नाइट
तो आप कब जा रहे हो खाना घर से?
वो पूछ रहे हो आज भी चाइनीज और मंचूरियन का बना के खाना इतना आ रहा क्या करो
कल बर्गर से कर
कल कितना कर रहे
नहीं रोज फ्राइडे बर्गर फ्राइडे
बिहार में बर्गर होता है
मैं बनवा देता हूँ गोला चिकन और भिंडी और कस्टर्ड नहीं रोज
आप करे तो कर भिंडी में जबरदस्त होती है
4 जगह से रिक्वेस्ट आई भिंडी
बहुत अच्छी होती
वो तीन वो भिंडी नहीं है जो आई थी 3-4 वो
बेटी वाले की
है इडली नॉन अच्छी होती है बहुत जबरदस्त है
भिंडी और वाइट कितना फर्क
जमीन
और आप खाना देखो वो गोश्त का वो बना हुआ गोश्त का राइट क्या बात कर रहे हो गोश्त का गोश्त बीफ पसंद है वो तो बीफ समझ के खाया ऐसे ही मजा आ गया यार वो तो जबरदस्त ऐसे मैंने तो खाया ही नहीं वो तो खाया नहीं ना यार इसके दवा तो खोला ही नहीं था
यहाँ तो कंपनी नहीं
अच्छा कल वाली कैसे खड़ी हुई थी चले और शराबत से खड़ी दे दिया इंतजार में फिर आए उसको अलग से मुंह लगी नहीं देना ओहो क्या आंखें निकाल दी तेरे सामने इसने
ये बोले उनको
फिर से निकाल तो फिर से करता जैसा निकल इसको देखी
सबसे बताइए ये जो का दुकान फेमस बोले दुकान में क्या नाम था दुकान है $100,000 बोले
बेटा तूने कितनी एक पलटी 2 दफा पलटी
ये बाबा है बाबा
हाँ बयान है उन्हें ठीक है अपना
लेकिन वैसे वो सुकून वाला था उसकी टाइमिंग थोड़ी सी उनकी बहुत थी कि सब थके हुए थे और खास सुकून वाला लेकिन लगा जा रहा है तो मैं भी आराम से दोनों के साथ कोई राइट देखो क्या बहुत लोग हैं
मत चाहिए
आपको बात में थोड़ा था बैन सुन रहे थे कैमरा बैन सुन रहे थे अरे इसको तो
2 बार की तो बजी थी
अब उस बेचारे को यार किसी करके सब उठ के जाए हालांकि मुझे करने जाना था मैं नहीं उठा ध्यान बोला इतना खराब लगेगा और बेचारा क्या वो डिटेल से कर रहा था नहीं था ये बहुत लेट शुरू किया थोड़ी कर शुरू किया तो पास में एक में 4 एक में 2 फिर वो दूसरे में 4 भी 4 ही रुक जाते वो फ्राइडे को 1000 पड़ेगा
1000 क्या
आया
1000
अब ये कितने साल से आ रही है यार
फ्राइडे तो तो मान जाना ना अपना
मुझे नहीं पड़ा क्या बोलते हैं वो फ्राइडे को पड़ा मिठाई लेके आ जाना
नहीं मतलब 1:30 बजे एक आध हम आएंगे मगरिब ओके एफिलिएट रजिस्टर भाई तीनों के नाम लिख ले और ईशा की नमाज पढ़ेंगे बैग मिल जाएगा रख देंगे जगह पे उसके बाद मस्ती नहीं मस्ती
वहाँ बैठ देंगे
नहीं तरावी नहीं यहाँ 4 रकात पढ़ेंगे लेकिन पता नहीं 1000 बोले तो
कौन पढ़ाएगा
अरे
लोग ये साथ ही वॉइस आ गया 7 साल
आप पढ़ाए ना 4 रकात स्टार्टिंग
कितने बजे खत्म होगा
सिर्फ पानी हमने 2 लीटर रख दिया तभी पूरा हो गया।
या प्रकाश एंडिंग होगा नहीं वो है ना शायद ने
तभी मैं तो बोला
एक तो मोइस है दूसरा वो पूछ है
29 हाँ 29 बोला किसको याद है देख के तो मैं भी पढ़ घूमना में क्या क्या नहीं देखिए पाकिस्तान में ना लोग पाकिस्तान they're reading the Quran and putting the Quran in their hand and reading while praying. But it's nafil namaz, so you can do it. You can read it from after, so you don't have to. Is that true? You can do it.
यहाँ भी तो है
नहीं वो मेरी साथ बता रही
बहुत दूसरा आदमी आता है अब तो बहुत है पर कौन सी करनी
नहीं वो जो लेडीज है ना उसमें ये है कि वो खुद ही पढ़ रही है तो
यहाँ पे पिछले 2 साल पहले कोई हाथ में बुक रख के पढ़ता है तो रास्ते में मिल तो तुमने देख के पढ़ा था
नहीं
क्या
नहीं पता चला मैंने खुद देखा है
यार यहाँ तो थोड़ी पढ़ रहे
देख के नहीं
वो तो नहीं दूसरी रीड कर रहे होंगे लेकिन उस टाइम पे थोड़ी पढ़ रहे थे पढ़ते टाइम पे कौन निकाला
नमाज पढ़ते हैं सर
नहीं
नहीं Imam Sahib said it's okay. And in Pakistan, couple of Imam also said for women it's okay if they are reading from the.
You know Saudi Arabia?
Yeah.
You know
Arab,
Mecca? Before 20 or 30 years, you have computer. With the man of Haram, have computer, have remote here, okay, make it change, pages, just move it like this. Okay, that, and up. Okay, here or there.
What do they do now?
And to now, but in video for Imam, not for big good area, the big area, just for Imam, you know. Sometime when he make moving it here to here, you can see in computer. I see in TV. Before too much years. Okay.
But it's okay, right?
Yes, for now, for start the difference.
Yeah.
Start, you memorize, just فتحة, the minimum small surah, last surah. Okay? But in the Nas and Sunnah, it's okay, you can. In Sayyida Aisha, he has Mawla. I think his name is Zakwan. He prayed Tarawih with the Sayyida Aisha, and she told him you can make Quran between them. And use this time, not have Quran like this now, you know, and just scare for animal scare, okay, and what something like this. And this time, too much Sahaba, he knows and he sees, and don't in the person he speaks is not allowing this haram, this halal. No, you know.
And if Bibi Aisha said it, it's Bibi Aisha, right?
Sayyida Aisha, no.
One of the Ummas.
No.
She said it. So that means that next year. Bogani will be. लगा देंगे
And other thing.
गूगल पे लगाने के नेक्स्ट ईयर तक ये इसकी आगे में आ जाएगा कंप्यूटर
हाँ ओ लाइक कंप्यूटर क्लास है
गूगल क्लास
yeah one computer Quran other computer I don't know about all the kitab dunya
And I have question, Ali. Attention with me. Subhanallah. I have question. How many times Prophet Muhammad finished the Quran in Tarawih? How many times?
इंग्लिश कुरान
In Tarawih.
in Tarawih
no I don't think he did in Jama he did some
more than
No,
I want to get it.
Never.
never.
Difficult. Never. Why? It's not sunnah.
Because
You know,
it's not.
it's not.
And it wasn't until Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu that people started praying
No.
together.
Started together, but not started recite whole Quran and Tarawih. You know.
But it's a good thing, right?
Yeah, it's good thing. But if you know this sunnah, whole Tarawih is sunnah. Okay. And sunnah, you can start. Okay, 4 rak'ah. So 4 rak'ah. No any person detail. No, just 3.5, not 4.5, 5, nothing. But in Tarawih, 8, 20, you know.
16,
Okay.
12, sometimes 4.
Yeah, it's okay. You know why? Just sunnah. Not sorry.
Nothing.
Nothing.
But it was also some.
No. Sunnah, two things. Sunnah rawatib and sunnah not rawatib. Rawatib, the meaning is after like Prophet Muhammad he make every day. Like sunnah Dhuhr, sunnah Asr, sunnah Maghrib, sunnah Isha. Sunnah ratib. Ratib
brother.
Because Sunnatul Muqtada important.
Please.
important.
Yeah.
I like it.
Hadith mu'akkada.
Sunnatul Muqtada. Fajr Sunnat important.
Yeah.
Zuhr Sunnat important.
Yes.
Asar okay.
And other things, sunnah. Prophet Muhammad he prayed to when it starts to pray Tarawih. 2 days prayer.
And then two things here.
That's fine.
Yeah, so
Then you know that this is
Okay. Start 1 day, 2 days, and Sahaba come, and Prophet Muhammad pray Isha, and go home. And Sahaba stay all night, and Prophet Muhammad come out, just before Isha. Until when? I am here. I come in, before I fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says this part. And you can be pray every day. Okay. And Prophet Muhammad pray sometimes late, sometimes late, because you know, we have to read too much like competition. Okay. I read Sheikh Yusuf read now you ختمة in Tarawih and other ختمة in Tahajjud. Last 10 days, every day, three juz in Tahajjud.
but it's the only month we do that.
You know,
We're not consistent. Yeah.
it is not the
yes. Too much.
In Chicago, when I used to travel for work, we finished Quran in 6 days, or 5 or 6 days.
Kalimas this month, last Sunday, in last before that, 1 o'clock, 3 days, last Sunday. Not Thursday. This month. Yeah.
You think, just if you have one ayah, actually you have meaning, okay? You make sense. Just ayah.
He come in private jet.
I will.
Brother Adnan, take home anything? पहली बार आया था ना करीम भाई का नाम You know him, Tawar? He's sitting at the car. Bilal Bhai's son, the brother. I think it's going to be, I don't think each job is going to be visible at least. Maybe like one third. They know. They know. एक मिनट ये है पानी हुआ ना
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الصلاة خير من النوم الصلاة خير من النوم الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر
हाँ लिखा हो गया हाँ। ये बाद में उसको 11 बजे वो चला देना वो जो है ना, तो ये क्या है, वो ले लेना पूरा। बहुत के बाद चला।
صحته ها؟ صحته ليه؟ سامر يعني صحته افتح اللك بتاع الباب اللي فوق عشان منهاج كمان شوية منهاج أطلع صح ما تقولش صح مو مفتاح الفتح ماما ها؟ طب افتح اللك عشان لما اجي اعرف عارف انا بعمل اللي بقول عليه صحته طب يلا طيب خليه يفتح الباب عشان بتاع اللك بتاع صلاة روح الصبح أنا بروح